Hello. I'm going to read three of my poems written over the last 5 years, and you could say that they show a progress in the mourning process, in grief. The first one I wrote in 2020, which was the year that my partner died. So this is a very raw one. Grief comes with knives and hammers. I wore his clothes with passion and despair in those first weeks. His fleece, his padded shirt, eagerly snuffing up traces of him, hungry for any scent or mark. His body gone, his body here, in pinches, morsels, grains, a latent presence. I wore his clothes with anger and remorse. Corduroy shirt, big brown jumper, huddled in his chair, reading the book he left unfinished. Those were the knife thrust days of saying, "Look, the first tulip," to no one, learning over and over the everlastingness of being dead. And the clothes became mine, took on my shape and smell, becoming almost normal, only the faintest hint of him fading. Until I found his T-shirt in a drawer, put away worn and unwashed, his gargoyle T-shirt from the Bodleian, and I inhale him again, his physicality, a gift unlooked for, a gleam, the faintest snatch of whistling from the dead place. These are the days of hammer blows, reiterations of the change, how the ordinary air was stolen, how the unmerciful hours repeat themselves. But on the grouting of the shower tiles, brown streaks could be cells from his skin. Should I rub them away? Why should I rub them away? That's from this book, When the Swimming Pool Fell in the Sea. And John died in January 2020, and 6 weeks later, COVID lockdown started. So I had plenty of time to write poems and things for him. But the lockdown actually went on for a very long time. And this poem comes from Dead Letters, published 2023, in which there are 25 letters to John. Dead Letters 9. Dear Jay, everything suddenly became the past when you went, leaving me in a blank space, a silence of stopped clocks. I told myself it would pass. This too will pass, I said, tried to believe it. But it's 2 years nearly, and I'm still in that obdurate ghetto, confined by, of all things, a pathogen, maturing always, highly contagious, an old woman in a wet town, cursing this long littleness. You're well out of it, sweetheart, although I could wish you back, welcome your company, your voice. In the first months of aftermath, solitude was required. After all, nobody was you. They still aren't you, but I'm used to that now. Now I'm remembering a poem from years back I couldn't finish, about an old woman living alone in a high house, a great flood approaching, playing with her toys. Why did I give her a doll's house? I thought there'd be scope for some narrative. How wrong could I be? There was no story, no plot. An old woman, a doll's house, a flood surging near and nearer. I'll bring up that house from the cellar, stock it with dolls, Lilliputian. One, a female, grey hair, blue dress and glasses. She's by the window. And the rest, in their waistcoats and pink frocks, I'll remove one by one. Yours ever, C. P.S. And that little brown dog, he'll go too. And since then, I have written another book of letters, another 25 letters, which I hope will be published by the end of this year, 2025. Um, and this is a poem from the new volume. Letters for John, 24. Dear Jay, the world is quieter now and further away. Those packs and sects of great ones still around, but tiresome, squawking creatures of less note than the robin throwing itself against the glass in a pointless attack against that other robin it can see and never touch. I am here still, in the house we shared, but which I now quite fill with myself. Your study, 5 years empty, holds some books and also laundry, doll's house, pillows, your elegant Panama hat. What happens when grief finally peters out, if it does peter out? It hasn't yet, can still thrust a knife, but, love, I am accustomed to your lack of breath. And what comes after all these tears and poems? This last sprint of time has wearied me. I read the line, now with his love, now in the cold grave, and can accept that simple opposition, think less of then and now, and merely fetch white roses, like the snow you wrote about in one of your rare poems. I see you as a child, the harshest winter, post-war, among great drifts of snow, which you tamed into a snow city. Houses, streets and churches, schools and palaces, and to people it threw crumbs onto its streets, so winter birds would linger there. Image or metaphor, that picture haunts my mind. A little boy, a whole life, and the untrodden snow. Yours ever, C. P.S. So we'll go no more a roving. And I thought to finish, I would read a poem, one of my favourite poems from one of my favourite poets, William Butler Yeats, which is a bit of a change. It's called The Song of Wandering Oengus. I went out to the hazel wood because a fire was in my head, and cut and peeled a hazel wand and hooked a berry to a thread. And when white moths were on the wing and moth-like stars were flickering out, I dropped the berry in a stream and caught a little silver trout. When I had laid it on the floor, I went to blow the fire aflame, but something rustled on the floor, and someone called me by my name. It had become a glimmering girl with apple blossom in her hair, who called me by my name and ran and faded through the brightening air. Though I am old with wandering through hollow lands and hilly lands, I will find out where she has gone, and kiss her lips and take her hands, and walk among long dappled grass, and pluck, till time and times are done, the silver apples of the moon, the golden apples of the sun. Thank you for listening. Goodbye.